Hey, what's up, y'all? Good evening. I'm going to read y'all an excerpt about a book I'm reading called Ancient and Modern Britons, which goes over some black history in Europe. There were black tribes in Europe. Bet you didn't know that, but you're about to find out. So it's just a little excerpt in this book. Mind you, the author is David McRitchie, and he is a white guy that has made this book that has, gotten all this information together and made a book about the early black tribes of Europe. I know it's crazy to think that there's black history outside of Africa, but you got to think about it like this. We're only told what the people who have conquered us and ruled over us want us to know about us. So as we start reading these books and we start getting into all this information, I'm talking about books that have been made in the 1800s, and they start describing the physical, the look of some of these people outside of America, and they resemble black people, and even some people say, well, they resemble Negroes or blackamoors and things of that nature. So we just have to acknowledge this information and present it. So I'm going to present this information. It's a small excerpt, nothing too big, and I want to get your opinion. You might not like it. You might think that it's not true. Well, that's your opinion. But we're going to read what this author has to say about there being black tribes in Europe. So like I said, it's a small excerpt. Let me go ahead and get it started. A tradition of a black man living in Scotland within the memory of a man was noticed in treating of the Moors, who are in all probability of the same race, substantially as the other black Europeans, under whatever name. A counterpart to the Black Morrow of Galloway is to be seen in a traditional Black Knight, who is said to have lived near Aston, Underland, holding the people in vassalage. I'm gonna read this word: vassalage, and using them with great severity. This legendary blackamoor, so the person that they're talking about is a blackamoor. Now you can look up the word blackamoor and see what it means and what does it identify. So he says the legendary blackamoor must antedate the Galloway ruffian. So Galloway ruffian is a representative of another person. Basically, they're describing another person. But they're saying that the legendary blackamoor came first, before this Galloway ruffian. So let's go ahead and continue to read. For the latter evidently belongs to a period when he and his race were almost wholly subdued and only able to commit their outrages under cover of night, whereas the former was distinctly the lord of the manor. So this blackamoor was the lord of the manor before this Galloway ruffian. There is a hint of another Scotch lord of this sort, who was presumably of the same race as him of Lancashire, but as in his case, the complexion is not specified. So they're not going to talk about the specification of the race of this person. He need not to be more than alluded to in this place. So it's not that big of a deal. In one of the notes to Ivanhoe, Sir Walter Scott adduces an instance which indicates the existence in our islands of a considerable black population within historical and comparatively recent times. The critics have been objecting to the complexion of the slaves of Brian de Bois Gilbert as being totally out of custom and propriety. This objection he meets by citing an instance in romance, which shows that not only were there black people in England during the Dark Ages, dark in a double sense, but also that they constituted, or at least formed, a recognized part of the class of wandering minstrels and mountebanks. So I don't know if you guys know what minstrels and mountebanks is, but I'm going to look it up after I make this content, just to get an understanding of what do they mean by minstrels and mountebanks. The case in point is this. Now here comes an important part. John of Rampayne, an excellent juggler and minstrel. So John of Rampayne is the subject. He was an excellent juggler and minstrel, undertook to effect the escape of Adolphe de Bracy, by presenting himself in disguise at the court of the king, where he was confined. For this purpose, he stained his hair and his whole body entirely as black as jet. So, this person, John Rampayne, is helping to free another individual he painted his body extremely black. I wonder why. So that nothing was white but his teeth, and succeeded in imposing himself on the king. Interesting. As an Ethiopian minstrel. Now, why would he want to do that if there are no black people around? He effected by stratagem the escape of the prisoner. Here goes the last part of it. Negroes, therefore, must have been known in England in the Dark Ages. Isn't that interesting? Quite interesting. Now, the name of this book, like I said, is Ancient and Modern Britons. I read you the bottom of page 136 and the entirety of page 137. Now, this excerpt doesn't really do this book justice. There's a lot of meat in this book, a lot of factual information in this book, and there's sources in here. It's full of sources where the information has come from. It's full of quotes that allude to other journalists and other authors that are respected and are legitimate. So if you're somebody that is interested in learning a little bit of history about, black people outside of just we started as slaves and that garbage, man, I suggest pick this book up. It's quite interesting. So that's all I have for you guys today. I might give you guys some more content today, but for now, that's all I got. Please like, share, subscribe, and the name of this piece of content, so I can get it out in the algorithm, I'm going to call it Are Black People Still in History? All right, I'll see you on the next one. Please like, share, and subscribe. I'm out.